All right, real question. Have you ever had a studio session and within 30 seconds, the artist says, I can hear myself. The beat is too loud. Or, why is there a delay? So instead of making music, you're playing tech support. The problem is not your interface, it's not your DAW, it's your Q mix. And today I'm going to show you how to build a professional headphone mix system using the Scarlett 18i20 and Logic Pro 12, where every artist gets their own mix, the metronome only runs when you want it, and your session runs like a real commercial studio. This is the exact same setup that I use when running sessions, so recording never stops for any headphone problems. Let's fix your studio right now. Before we even open up Logic, we need to set up the brain of the operation, and that is the Focusrite control. Right, so I've already went ahead and did this, and this is what mine looks like. This is where your Q mix actually lives, so first you need to clean it up. What I like to do is to only enable what I realistically plan to use. And for me, that is the 8 analog inputs and 4 stereo playback channels. This will keep it simple and have less confusions during the session. And now we're going to label the playback channels. And trust me, this will save your session. Playback channel 1 is our stereo out. That is the main mix. We're not going to use that too much during the session, but that is ultimately where everything will end up when we're done. And channel 2 is the beat playback. This is where anything that you want to hear during the session would live, like the instrumental, background vocals, anything that the artist needs to hear. Channel 3 is for the click track only. So I labeled it metronome. And lastly, we have the effects channels. I use this one separately because I might want to hear a different amount of reverb than what the artists want to hear. So I like to have control over that. And now it's time to set up the Logic session. And for this part, you're going to do everything the way you used to doing it. So whatever works for you when you're running a session, do that. And then we're going to build our Q mix on top of it. All right, so I'm going to start by creating a new session. And I'm going to input the beat that I want. Now that I have the beat loaded, I am pretty much ready to start recording. But first, there's a few steps that we need to do to ensure that our Q mix actually works out in our favor. We're gonna start by clicking on the metronome area in the top, and we're gonna select recording settings, and we're gonna locate metronome, and we're gonna change the output to the pre-designated channel that we set up on the control app. And for that, I had it set to channel 5 and 6. So we're gonna choose channel 5 and 6 here. Now metronome is routed, it's time to route the beat. If you are working with a stereo beat, simply route the output to the pre-designated channel on your control app. And for that, we had choose channels 3 and 4. So we're gonna select that. If you are working with a multi-track instrumental, the principle is the exact same. But first, you might want to consolidate your session. So group like instruments together and send them to a bus, and then take those buses and send them to the pre-designated channel on your control app. And lastly, we have our effects. This is optional, but artist loves it. We're gonna start by creating return track for our effects, right? So I'm just gonna create 2, and I will take those 2 and send them to our pre-designated channel on control, which in this case, I believe is 7 and 8. We have everything set correctly on both apps. It's time to create the Q mix. We're gonna jump back into the control app real quick, and we're gonna select the channel we wanna mix for. Let's do, from here, we should be able to see all our sources, the live tracks and our main stereo, the beat, the metronome, and the effects. At this point, you simply need to balance the mix for each specific performer. You can literally create different mixes for each person in the room. The singer wants more of their vocals, done. The drummer wants more click, easy. The guitar player wants no effects, done. It is that simple. Here's another bonus tip to help your sessions move fast. Now I have a whole video about this, so I'm gonna make sure to link it down in the description. Make sure to check it out. In all my recording sessions, I like to have 4 record related tracks. 1 is the record track. This one is always record enabled. Everything is recorded through here, and the volume is always down or it's on mute. And 4 tracks 2 and 3, those are playback tracks. Everything that is recorded is moved to those tracks for playback. During the recording session, both of these tracks are routed to the beat playback. And lastly, we have track 4. Track 4 is a consolidation track. Anything that is moved to the 2nd and 3rd track are being cleaned up, and those ends up on the 4th track, which is then routed to my all Vox. And that track will most likely end up being the lead for the entire session. Quick recap. During the entire recording session, anything that you want the artist to hear needs to be routed to the beat playback channel on the control app. And anything that you want fine control over needs to have their own separate tracks. For example, the click. The amount of clicks that you want to hear may be different from what the artist is hearing. And if you're recording multiple people, they each may want to have their own level of click. So it's good to have that on its own track. And then, of course, there's the effects. Some people may want more effects than others, so it's always good to have that on its own track as well. When using time-based effects from your DAW to monitor through, be careful with that. This setup is designed to allow you to record with high buffer size, though if you plan to use any plugins to monitor through, those may cause delays, so you will need to lower your buffer size to allow real-time monitoring. So in the case that you do choose to use those plugins, make sure your buffer size is low enough. Anything around 128 and below should be just fine, assuming your computer can handle it, but just be careful to not cause any delays, defeating the purpose of this setup. And that is it. Now you have a real studio level Q mix using your Scarlett 18920 and Logic Pro 12. You should have no more headphone complaints. You should not have to stop your sessions, just smooth recordings and happy artists. If this helped you level up your studio recording workflow, hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. I'll see you on the next one.